Welcome to this presentation, which is designed to guide researchers on conducting qualitative research within the ECo-PPR project. Qualitative data help us understand things that are difficult to measure, such as underlying reasons, opinions, and motivations. We collect qualitative data within multiple tools in the project, including community meeting, key informant interviews, household survey, and market survey. The way questions are phrased and the social dynamic of who is asking and who is responding can affect the answers people give. We can't always eliminate bias in research, but it is helpful to have awareness of influential factors. Here are a few best practices for qualitative research. Open-ended questions encourage a response beyond just yes or no. Instead of asking you if you like this training, I could ask you what you think about the training so far. Leading questions cause bias because they force a certain answer. For example, you like this training, right? If you are unsure how to phrase something, return to the research question and make sure the question you are asking is relevant. Active listening skills are an important way to encourage responses and make people feel comfortable. Try to maintain a curiosity for what people are telling you, even if you have done the same research activity many times. Who knows, someone may say something new that can surprise you. How could you make these questions better or reword them? Pause the video and take a moment to write down some answers. The first question, do you want to vaccinate your sheep, is not open-ended because it can be answered with a single yes or no. You could modify it by asking what people do and don't like about vaccines, or add, do you want to vaccinate your sheep? Why or why not? The second question, your husband sells animals at the market, right? Is leading and makes assumptions. One way to modify it might be to ask, who sells animals at the market? The third question, what is it like working as a veterinarian in this community, is open-ended and not leading, so it doesn't need any modification as long as it addresses the underlying research question. Community meetings and focus groups are examples of research tools within the project where there are structured activities, but there is some flexibility for modifying questions depending on the responses. The goal is to understand unknown topics and people's perceptions. Key characteristics of community meetings and focus groups include having participants who share common traits, for example, small ruminant livestock keepers, having discussions that are guided by a facilitator, and having assistants who are taking notes or perhaps translating. Typically, these activities take 2 to 3 hours. The goal is for everyone to feel comfortable and for many people as possible to share their opinions. It is not important to have a consensus. A facilitator guides the group of people through the activities. Their job is to explain the activities, keep the group focused, and engage as many people as possible. The facilitator shouldn't speak too much once an activity begins, but can use language like this to encourage, summarize, or keep time. Interesting, please tell me more about... What I've heard is that correct? Are there any other opinions or experiences? Let's continue this activity for 2 more minutes. Note takers write down what people say, who said it, and additional information such as emotion or body language. It's helpful to have at least 2 note takers per activity so they can compare notes later. You can use paper forms or notebooks and type up notes later. Here are some examples of good field notes. Notice the notes include body language and information about the speaker. For a small group, you can even make a table with the participants and give them codes so you can easily note who said what. This is important for understanding how individual characteristics such as age, gender, or marital status affect people's opinions and experiences. As a final example, here are some excellent notes. They may be combined notes from two people that were typed up using notes from a field notebook. You can see information about agreement, who said what, visible emotions, direct quotations, specific examples, information about the number of people who shared an idea, and body language. Having a full quotation can be very powerful when results from these activities are written up later. Sometimes research activities may require a translator. As you can see, even a skilled translator cannot just jump into the research activity at the same time as the participants. It is important for the facilitator, translator, and note takers to have some time to plan together and become familiar with the research tool. If the activity has separate groups of men and women, you may need to plan for 2 translators, or make sure the single translator is engaged with both groups. This is an activity you can do as practice with a research team just before you go to the field. Have volunteers practice the ranking exercise in the community meeting tool, where participants order livestock species by their importance. As the participants discuss, other members of the team should listen to the debates and practice taking notes. Use this slide to check your notes from this activity or any research activity. Maybe the researcher who gets the most points can win a small prize. Again, you do not have to do this activity right now if you are watching this presentation alone, but consider it as something to use for training and motivating a research team before starting fieldwork. This is the final slide. Remember, even if you only work with some of the more structured tools within the ECo-PPR project, such as the household survey, you can still find opportunities to apply these skills in qualitative research collection. If you're ever not sure how to proceed, you can always return to the research question for guidance. Ask yourself, what are we trying to learn or find out by asking this question? Here are some additional resources for the ECo-PPR project. Special thanks to Alessandra Gallier at ILRI for some of the material within this presentation. Thanks for listening, and good luck in the field.